Alright, so, hey friends, this is going to be a second video in our mini-series talking about Raidbots, and today we will be looking at Gear Compare. So, what does Gear Compare do? Gear Compare is a tool that lets us simulate our character and compare it with any sort of item that is possible to make within the structure of the game. Why is this useful for us as raiders? Currently, the most often context in which we can use this tool is when an item from the raid Titan forges or rolls a socket. So let's have a look at an example of this, and I will try to show you how exactly we can use this to our advantage. So if you remember our video about Droptimizer, within the Droptimizer we can create this sort of a list. And we can see here that, of course, some items in this list are upgrades, some items are downgrades. And let's say that we are doing Ashvane Heroic, Ashvane Mythic, and this item that is the Borealis Noble Seal at the 445 level is clearly a downgrade for us. But what if this item dropped at, let's say, 455 item level with a socket? The question arises, okay, is this now an upgrade for me, or is it still not an upgrade for me, and how can I actually check this? And this is where Gear Compare becomes very, very useful. So let's hit into it. Let's go into Gear Compare. Just like with the Droptimizer, you need to type in the /simc command in the World of Warcraft game, which will present you with the string of data that we have to copy in. So I just did that right now, a little bit before. And Gear Compare presents us with our list of gear that we are running currently right now over here. But also it did this kind of a small copy of our items, which we can sort of edit and replace the items here with any item that we can possibly create. So as long as we know the name of the item, we can just type it right here into the item name section. So I'm just going to do this right about now. Yeah, we can see here in the small drop-down menu suggestion of the Borealis Noble Seal that we're about to run. And we have a few options that we can set here. We can choose the slot in which we want this item. We can also choose, of course, its item level, which I'm going to set to 455. We can also decide if this item has a socket or not, so I'm just going to put here 50 haste because that's the stat which fire mages like at this moment. And I'm going to do the same for the enchants for this item, right? 60 haste. The next question which arises is, okay, can I check if this item is an upgrade for me for the first slot and the second slot as well? And that's something we can do also by just adding another gear set to it. And here I'm going to do exactly the same thing as I did before. But this time I will change the slot setting to finger 2. You can also do the same for trinkets if you desire so, if you're checking any sort of trinkets. So I'm going to do item level 455. I'm going to do the same enchants and gems. I can also give some names to these gear sets. So I'm going to do, let's say, Titan Forge finger 1, and I'm going to do Titan Forge finger 2. And here now we have two gear sets that we're going to compare with what we have equipped currently. The only thing that is left for us now to do is to just click compare items. And after that, the simulation which we are running should present us with a report like this. So here we have a very, very clear vision as to how big of an upgrade this item is at the item level and socket that we decided to put on it. So we can see here Titan Forge finger 2, if I equip it into the second slot, this is not an upgrade for us by a mile. And however, if I would put it into the first slot, it says that it's plus 18 DPS upgrade, which of course for us doesn't make that big of a difference. But you can see here that this tool works very, very well to kind of establish if an item that is not 445, but just a big Titan Forge, if it's worth for us this keeping it, is it worth for us to roll for it? And again, it's very useful for providing information as to how big of an upgrade this item is. So that's how Gear Compare works. Like I say, it's a very nice tool for deciding if a Titan Forge or socketed item is good for us or not. I hope you found this video useful, and if you will have any questions, like always, just write to me on Discord. But I will see you guys in the next video, which we will use to cover Top Gear, and I hope you guys have a good one. See you next time. Bye!